How bad is the luxury home market crash? All real estate agents in Shanghai are currently pushing the same property, the top-tier luxury home Philly Regency in Yangpu district. The owner reduced the price by 5 million yuan in April, but it still didn't sell. Now another 3 million yuan has been slashed off. This house was listed in August last year, and it's almost been a year. Last year, the highest transaction price in the same community was 190,000 yuan per square meter. Now the price of this house has dropped to just over 130 yuan per square meter, but no one is buying it. This 243 square meter house, originally priced at 46 million yuan, has now shrunk by 12 million yuan. Over 14 months, the price has dropped by 900,000 yuan per month, 200,000 yuan per week, and 30,000 yuan per day. It's unbelievable. How can anyone sleep knowing they are losing 30,000 yuan every day? In the current economic downturn, where can one earn 30,000 yuan a day?
It is said that even the top-tier luxury homeowners are beginning to exit the real estate market, with widespread panic and extremely pessimistic sentiments, especially in major cities like Beijing and Shanghai. After the CCP initiated a major reshuffle of the financial sector, the impact on Shanghai has exceeded expectations. As China's financial hub, Shanghai reportedly has hundreds of financial industry executives living in luxury communities. Following the salary rollback orders, a fund manager in Shanghai had to sell his top-tier luxury home in Shimao Riviera Garden, priced at over 1 million yuan per square meter in Lujiazui, for a flat price of 28.5 million yuan. The original purchase cost was as high as 40 million yuan. More wealthy individuals are rushing to liquidate their assets, leading to a frenzy in the luxury home market. The phenomenon of luxury home market crashes in Shanghai began in July of last year with one homeowner in Lakeville Regency. It has since intensified, shocking the real estate market. Lakeville Regency is a leader in Shanghai's luxury home market, widely known throughout the city. The residents are influential and mysterious figures. In July 2023, a house in Lakeville Phase 2 was listed for 19.99 million yuan, 15 million yuan below the market price. The owner had repeatedly slashed the price from 32.98 million yuan to 28.5 million yuan, then to 26.26 million yuan, and finally to 19.99 million yuan. This event is considered a landmark in the crash of Shanghai's luxury home market, marking the beginning of its decline. Currently, the market for new luxury homes in Shanghai, represented by Lakeville Phases 4 and 5, is in a dismal state, with price drops of nearly 30%. In some cases, the value of properties worth tens of millions can plummet in a matter of months, days, or even overnight, to an extent that is unimaginable. In May of this year, the so-called #1 luxury home in Huangpu Bund, Greentown Huangpu Bay, also saw its price per square meter drop to the same level as ordinary residences. The phenomenon of luxury homes crashing in price has recently drawn a lot of attention, especially in first-tier cities like Shanghai. The fluctuation in luxury home prices is often seen as a market indicator. A recent listing of a luxury home in Green City, Huangpu Bay, at 130,000 yuan per square meter shocked many, especially considering the average price in this community is usually around 230,000 yuan, with some transaction as high as 260,000 yuan. A 50% price drop is astounding and has truly shocked the Shanghai real estate market. Since last year, the number of luxury homes crashing in price has been countless. You might think these owners are crazy, but they are wealthy individuals who own luxury properties. Their actions make one ponder the reasons behind these price crashes. In recent years, it has been increasingly difficult to make money. Is there a lack of money? No, there isn't. The money supply, M2, is over 300 trillion yuan, but the money is not in your hands. Even though the US and Singapore are investigating wealthy Chinese individuals, why do our wealthy people still leave? What are they afraid of? They fear retrospective investigations in the tax enforcement period. With banks and tax authorities linked, your money and company accounts are transparent to the state. A tax audit could directly bankrupt you. We all know that while the United States and Singapore strictly investigate the source of wealth, they also protect legal private property. This is not the case in China, where in the eyes of the CCP, both property and life belong to the party, and the party can take them at will. Police tax is a term that has recently become very popular. Reports indicate that various regions in China have recently established police tax cooperation centers. Netizens mocked, asking, are they preparing for war? Who is the enemy? Private enterprises? When did it escalate to a conflict between enemies? Has it reached the point of combat? Seeing this situation, aren't wealthy people in China afraid? Of course they are. China's rich list has long been dubbed the pig slaughtering list by outsiders. Some say Chinese entrepreneurs are either in prison or on their way to prison. The only way out is to flee with their assets. Otherwise, they are just waiting to go to jail. Wealthy Taiwanese people on the mainland are even more terrified. I spoke with a luxury homeowner for an entire afternoon today, curious about why he continues to slash prices despite new policies. This owner is not short of money and is from Taiwan. His reasons for slashing prices include the following. First, in the times of turmoil, gold is valuable, and in prosperous times, property is valuable. He believes that with a volatile international situation and increasing political risks, property values might plummet, exchange rates could drop significantly, and there's even the risk of assets being frozen if the Taiwan Strait conflict escalates. Second, there's a risk of domestic economic downturn. He pointed out a few things for me to consider. Relentless interest rate cuts, massive layoffs in sectors from the internet to new energy vehicles, and heavily indebted property companies. Third, there's a risk of property prices continuing to fall. He asked, when developers are not making money, how can they make money by holding their properties? It seems that Taiwanese people still don't understand the CCP well enough. This gentleman from Taiwan may not realize that if the CCP sets its sights on your assets, it's not just a matter of whether you make money. They could accuse you of being a spy or supporting Taiwan independence, and not only would you lose your assets, but you could also lose your life. Isn't advocating for Taiwan independence already punishable by death? The CCP is now desperate for money and could, at any time, launch another major purge of wealthy people's assets, just like in the 1950s. However, even if these wealthy individuals slash prices by 50%, they may not be able to sell their luxury homes. This is true in Shanghai, Beijing, and all major cities. It's unbelievable that properties in Haidian are still not selling. On the day of the Four Seasons Green Luxury Home launch, the official announcement claimed sales of 2.04 billion yuan, but internal sources say only 5 units were sold, totaling 150 million yuan, with a clearance rate of just 5%. A luxury home in Haidian selling so poorly is unprecedented. If luxury homes aren't selling, what about high-end apartments in Beijing's core areas? They used to be extremely sought after.
Do you know what kind of building this is outside?
What kind of building?
Yao Ming has an apartment here, and many celebrities love to buy here. It's called Yingtai.
Isn't that Yintai department store downstairs?
Yes, but did you know it has fallen from grace? At its peak, prices soared to 170,000 to 200,000 yuan per square meter, but now it's reportedly selling for 70,000 to 80,000 yuan per square meter.
That cheap?
Yes,
Why did it drop so much?
because no one wants it. When no one wants a property, the price naturally keeps dropping.
Why does no one want it? It's a prime location.
Because even the wealthy are now cautious with their spending, preferring investments with more comprehensive value. For 70-year-old apartments like this, banks offer lower loan amounts, not recognizing its value, so who would buy it?
It's not just luxury homes. High-end apartments in the entire Beijing real estate market have cooled. Beijing's property market is also stagnant because the upgrade chain has broken. Previously, young people arriving in Beijing used 6 wallets to borrow 1 million yuan for a down payment on a 3 million yuan old, small apartment. The seller then used the money to buy a 6 million yuan elevator apartment. The 6 million yuan buyer then purchased a 10 million yuan large 3-bedroom apartment to enjoy retirement. The 10 million yuan seller, a senior executive, bought a 15 million yuan low-density small villa. The 15 million yuan company owner then bought a villa in the central villa district, living a life with land and gardens. But now, the foreigner in the villa district plans to return home and wants to sell the villa for cash. The 15 million yuan company owner's performance has declined and he wants to sell his property to sustain his business. The 10 million yuan senior executive was laid off and can't pay the mortgage. The 6 million yuan buyer's financial investments failed, so they are all selling their properties. The young person with 1 million yuan sees the prices dropping and hesitates even more to buy. Shenzhen's real estate market has been in a downturn since 2023 with no signs of recovery. The luxury home market is equally bleak. It's incredibly awkward. Even with a 20% discount, 30 luxury homes worth 10 million yuan each had no buyers. The highest price per square meter in this community was 150,000 yuan. A 20% discount should be a steal, but the final auction price was 100,000 yuan per square meter, and institutions even cover the taxes. It should have been highly sought after, but all 30 luxury homes failed to sell. It's truly shocking. According to statistics from Times Weekly, from January to April 2023, Shenzhen saw a total of 863 first-hand luxury home transactions, a year-on-year decrease of 63.5%. The transaction prices have also entered a downward trend. In March 2024, real estate agents in Shiko Shenzhen were aggressively promoting a property. This high-rise luxury home in Shuangxi Garden, developed by China Merchants Group, was once priced at 100 million yuan. To sell it quickly, the asking price was reduced to 65.5 million yuan, a drop of over 30 million yuan. This property has been listed for more than 5 years, with its price fluctuating along with the ups and downs of the Shenzhen real estate market. In January 2019, the asking price was 70 million yuan. It increased to 75 million yuan in 2020, then to 80 million yuan in July 2020. By January 2021, the price was adjusted to 85 million yuan, and in April 2021, it was raised to 90 million yuan. In June 2021, the price was once again raised to 100 million yuan, but it did not sell for 2 years. Subsequently, Shenzhen's housing prices began to decline. In February 2023, the owner reduced the price to 90 million yuan. By September 2023, the price was lowered to 85 million yuan. In March 2024, the owner further reduced the price to 65.5 million yuan. Some say this property, listed for 5 years, has witnessed the rise and fall of Shenzhen's real estate market and reflected the extent to which people's incomes have shrunk. An article circulating online discusses the real estate market. A homeowner in Wuqing, Tianjin claimed, "Welcome everyone to be my neighbor in Tianjin. The house price is only 390,000 yuan. According to this blogger, his house is about 80 square meters. At its peak in 2017, the price was 20,000 yuan per square meter, totaling 1.6 million yuan. When he was house hunting in 2021, the price had halved to about 800,000 yuan. He promptly bought it, feeling happy and satisfied for saving 800,000 yuan. 3 years later, in 2024, the same house now costs 390,000 yuan, meaning it has halved again from the 800,000 yuan price. Chinese property owners jokingly say that buying a house is like trading stocks. You always think you're lucky to buy at the low point, but you're actually only halfway down with an endless abyss ahead. Luxury homes are not selling, and the luxury car and high-end goods markets are also experiencing a collapse.
有钱人真的消失了吗？
Are the wealthy disappearing? Even with a 1.1 million yuan discount, no one wants a Cullinan. According to May's new car sales data, Rolls-Royce sold only 57 cars in China, a 53% month-on-month drop. Cullinan discounts of 1.1 million yuan had no takers. Rolls-Royce, a symbol of status and wealth, sold 6,032 cars globally in 2023, with over 1,300 sold in China. Chinese buyers accounted for 1/5 of the market, but in the first 5 months of this year, they sold only 377 cars in China, a 33% year-on-year drop. It's not just Rolls-Royce. Other luxury brands are also struggling. Bentley sales in China for the first 5 months were 1,099 units, breaking the 1,000-unit mark, but still a 30.7% year-on-year drop. Porsche sold 22,292 units in the first 5 months, a 40% year-on-year drop. Even with 100,000 yuan cash incentives, no one was interested. Ferrari, a supercar brand, sold 348 units in China in the first 5 months, a 31% year-on-year drop. Maserati sold 681 units, a 69% year-on-year drop. second only to McLaren's 91% drop. Even the BBAs, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, is struggling. In the first 5 months, Mercedes-Benz sales dropped 9.6%, BMW dropped 6.9%, and only Audi saw an 8.8% year-on-year growth, which was driven by heavy discounts. Overall, the trend of declining luxury brand sales this year is very clear and severe. Analysts believe that the subjective downgrade in consumer spending is one of the main reasons for the sharp decline in luxury car sales. This trend affects nearly all consumer-related industries, and price cuts have become the main theme in the domestic car market. In this environment of overall consumption downgrade, the entry-level luxury bag market is also experiencing a dark moment in China. Surveys show that over half of Chinese consumers have reduced their spending on luxury bags in the past year. Since the end of March last year, the market value of the top 10 European luxury goods groups, including LVMH, Hermes, Kering Group, and Burberry, has significantly shrunk. The growth engine in the Asia-Pacific region, particularly in mainland China, is no longer far ahead. LV's overall revenue fell by 9%, with the once strong Asian market declining by 11%, especially in China. Besides well-known luxury homes, cars, bags, and watches, another high-end industry in China is experiencing a sharp decline: upscale restaurants. Once a gathering place for the wealthy and seen as unattainable luxury by the poor, high-end restaurants are now empty and deserted, with many closing down or lowering their consumption standards. Searching high-end Western food on China's Instagram Little Red Book shows that many well-known Western restaurants across the country have closed down in 2024. Various data indicate that the proportion of dining establishments with an average per capita consumption of over $70 has significantly decreased, including many high-end Western restaurants. For example, Osteria, China's first Italian oyster restaurant, operated in Shanghai for over 16 years, but closed on May 31st when its lease expired. Another example is People 6, a creative fusion restaurant of Chinese, Japanese, and French cuisines, which closed after being a popular dating spot for over 20 years. Some restaurants that barely survive have had to adopt more grounded approaches to save costs and attract customers, such as offering cheap coffee and takeout. UVVU Cafe, once an offshoot of Ultraviolet, UV, one of Shanghai's most expensive Western restaurants, now offers coffee for as low as $4, compared to its previous per capita consumption of over $900. Opera Bambana once sold dumplings for $8 each, couldn't hold on, and now sells cakes online for around $7 each after closing its physical store. Just 3 to 4 years ago, many high-end restaurants in Beijing and Shanghai were doing great business, even setting sales records. Many restaurants with an average per capita consumption of over $138 were hard to book. But now, with China's economic bubble bursting, the wealth of the rich shrinking, and the middle class falling into poverty, many high-end Western restaurants face difficulties and fall into a cycle of opening and closing quickly. There's no denying that the once spendthrift Chinese wealthy class is disappearing. The consumption downgrade has primarily affected the middle class, but high net worth individual spending is also significantly impacted, albeit later. In the past 2 years, not only has the number of new wealthy individuals sharply declined, but the wealth of existing rich individuals has also dramatically shrunk, leading to their downgraded and more rational consumption. According to the Hurun Global Rich List 2024, China lost 155 billionaires, accounting for 1/6 of the total. Even the top-tier wealthy are struggling. China's richest person, Zhong Shanshan of Nongfu Spring, has a net worth of 450 billion yuan, but his wealth has decreased by 9% year-on-year. Deng Yukun of CATL saw his wealth evaporate by 34% in a year. Besides the evaporation of top-tier wealth, the number of wealthy families in China has also decreased significantly. According to Hurun's statistics, by early this year, there were only 5.14 million affluent families with disposable assets of over 6 million yuan, a decrease of more than 40,000 households in 1 year. The number of ultra-high net worth families with assets over 100 million yuan has dropped to 133,000, a decrease of 5,200 households in 1 year. These figures indicate that the wealthy are indeed becoming poorer.